Adam Christ for MyMMAnews.com, being joined by my man Reggie Barnett, who's taking on Matt Murphy at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships 10 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. First, I got to thank my man for joining me, Reggie. It's always a pleasure to catch up, brother. How are you?
Thank you so much, Adam. I greatly appreciate you having me on. And, definitely shout out to my MMA News for following and continue to track Bare Knuckle and my career in general. So I'm feeling great, man. We were like 5-6 days out.
Yep.
I had an amazing 6-week camp. We were training for a couple of weeks, and we didn't even know who we were fighting. It didn't really matter who we were fighting. So the last 3 weeks, we just kind of got an opportunity to kind of tailor some things for the opponent. But I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to make some noise. When everybody leaves next weekend, they're not going to be talking about Caleb Harris, Jim Ehlers, Hector Lombard. They're going to be like, holy shit, don't let Reggie stay out of Bare Knuckle for that long again. That's what they're going to be talking.
So before we get into this fight, I want to talk about the last fight, right? The championship bout, a little bit of a letdown, but your fight with Johnny Bedford. You were talking a little bit, saying emotions got a little bit involved. You got, a little bit off your game plan, as you say. What can you take from that fight and apply it in this fight, and also for your career down the line?
Down the line, one, as far as the war words, all the trash talk, I'm just not going to partake in that crap anymore. I just really that had never really been me. I've never really been that kind of person. And, they reached out. They're like, come on, let's promote the fight. And I went out my way to do it. And I got so enthralled in it that, it really got some of the things he said really hit me to the core. So I really wanted to hurt him at the time. And like I said in the fight, when he threw that second knockdown, when he threw his hands up like Muhammad Ali, like thought I was done, I was just like, oh, okay, fine then. Let's just fight. And so, but I learned. And so I know now that if I stick to my game plan, no matter what's going on in the fight, because it took me a few rounds to get dialed back in, but we could definitely see towards the third before I ran into that punch, and definitely in the fourth and fifth, I was outboxing the shit out of Johnny. So I'm perfectly capable of doing it to anybody. It's just a matter of maintaining a sound level, mind, and sticking to the game plan and sticking to what Easy does best. As long as I do what I do best, then nobody can beat me. When I lowered myself and tried to fight Johnny in his own, I guess at his own game plan, his own way, we saw the result of it. He got the better of it. So.
And you were talking with one of my colleagues, obviously, at MyMMAnews.com, who does a great job with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, Eric Kowal. And you had mentioned to him, I love this direct quote. You said, you need to get back to the raging lunatic, right? That, you saw in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships back in the original, when you were getting into there, the raging lunatic. What do you need to do to bring that Reggie back?
Honestly, just have fun with it. The first Bare Knuckle, we didn't really know what we were getting into. It was brand new, and that Reggie just wanted to fight, to fight, be there, to take place, to just have fun doing it. And after, the tournament, it kind of turned, kind of like a business, and there was a lot of added pressure to, I guess, win and be the champion, the first of all that. And so it really took the fun out of it. Like, I know when I stepped in there, the mentality for that fight was completely different from all the other fights. It was just so much like I have to win. But now I don't even really feel like that. I know I'm going to beat Matt Murphy, but I just want to go in there and, just be the old Easy, like, fuck it, I'm here to fight. Let's see if you can beat me at my game, And whenever I approached it like that, we saw that with Travis Thompson, completely decimated him. Clay Burns, honestly, I went out with the mentality that I was going to try to bang it out with Clay, and I got caught with some good punches. So I was like, forget it, go back to what I do best. And that's why I still won that fight. Rusty Crowder, he didn't even really want to fight, so I can't really comment. I chased him around for like 6 minutes before he decided he wanted to fight because he was tired of running. So, but just to go, not with the mentality of, oh, I got to, but like, I'm here. This is what I do. I love to do this. I've been doing this since I was a kid. And that's how I'm going to carry myself from now on. And I feel like even if I ever get back to the opportunity to have a title shot, if as long as I maintain that mentality, I'm not even worried about the title. I'm glad to be a part of Bare Knuckle. I'm glad to be able to do what I love to do, for a living. Then, I feel like everything is going to transpire in a better way for me.
And discussing your opponent, Matt Murphy, man, it's going to be an amazing fight. I look forward to this fight, but comparing apples to oranges, you're completely different fighters, right? So what do you take from him that you can put your game plan and put your perspective in against him? And what do you take from him that you might be potentially looking out for without giving too much of your game plan away, of course?
Well, we know that Matt's well, the first thing that everybody has to realize, and I want this to go on record, is that Reggie boxes at 128 pounds and 100.
Yeah, you gain weight.
So me fighting at 135 is almost essentially me fighting my walk-around weight. This camp, we put on 5 pounds of muscle. We tried to do that for the Johnny camp. I don't think we went about it in the correct manner. I brought in a new nutritionist. Me and my strength and conditioning coach, we sat down and we went over the game plan as far as training to get stronger for this camp. So I think I nullified the size advantage as far as, his height and his size for me. And then also just, I know I'm a better boxer than him. And so he's not going to come out and try to make it a boxing match. I don't expect, he knows that I'm a better boxer than him. Everybody knows that. So I don't expect him to come out and try to make it a boxing match. I expect him to come out and make it a bare knuckle fight. And I'm cool with that because I've been preparing not for a boxing match, but for a bare knuckle fight.
And transitioning I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, transitioning after this fight, like you said, you said yourself that you two were two people that survived, as you said, Johnny Bedford, right? So is this the route back to the championship status, right? You said you're number one, right behind Johnny Bedford. Do you think this fight is the fight that's going to make sense to put you right back into that championship caliber?
It should, but I'm not the boss, and I don't write the storyline. I just show up and I do my job to the best of my ability, and that's what I plan on doing. Whatever happens in retrospect after that, I'm hoping. That I would love a direct line. Who doesn't want a direct line back to the title? Right. But also in my mind, in my team, in my camp, we're thinking, why don't we, if we have the opportunity, let's beat Matt, let's beat Abby, let's beat Dat. Let's just go ahead and obliterate everybody else in the weight class. So there's no choice but for them to be like, well, yeah, because going into the tournament, we already knew who was going to make it to the finals.
Right.
That's why they put it on the opposite side of the bracket. It was expected. So now, of course, the weight class is kind of saturated, but I feel like even if I beat Matt Murphy, in my heart of hearts, I want to beat Dat to prove that I'm still the best boxer in bare knuckle at 135 pounds, and I want to beat Abby so he can shut the hell up and sit down somewhere talking about, I'm next in line, I deserve a title fight. When you beat Travis Thompson, I obliterated him, and you had a war with him. You beat who was the other kid he fought?
It's on the tip of my tongue too.
Yeah, me too. But Rick Caruso, right? And I love Rick to death. He's a gamesman. He's one of those guys who he's going to show up and fight, but there's a difference between being a gamesman and a talented fighter.
Yeah, I want to talk about the transitions. Just taking a step back from your fight, I want to talk about how a lot of the combat athletes are now, coming from UFC and, boxing, everything like that. So you're on the card with Hector Lombard, everything like that. But your bread and butter, right, is your boxing. Do you feel that that's the reason why you are such a dominant force in bare knuckle bare knuckle fighting championships? Is you have that pure boxing talent, whereas others, they're competing in several different sports and combat sports, but you're the pure boxer.
I mean, the boxing pedigree is a plus. I had not like a illustrious, accoladed amateur career, but I had a lot of fights. My dad would take me to tournaments, and we'd go to one tournament one weekend. I'd fight 4 or 5 times in one weekend, and then next weekend, I'd fight 3 more times. So I just had an opportunity to get a lot of fights and have a lot of experience. But also, my approach to it is different. The boxing is great for it, but I approach it like a hand-to-hand combat fight. If you look at it, I throw a lot of boxing combinations. I use my boxing a lot. But if you go back and look at some of the other fights, you can see remnants of Wing Chun, karate, taekwondo, all different types of strikes. I don't think a lot of them don't look at it in that retrospect. They're just going there like, oh, I'm just going to throw some punches and hope I knock this dude out before he knocks me out. There's no real strategy, no real technique to it. And I wanted to be, like when I went to tryouts, I wanted to make sure I solidified my spot by showing that I was one of the best technical fighters there at tryouts. So, and that is my staple. And we didn't see that in the Johnny fight at all. So that's what I'm going to go back to. That's what the fans love to see. Like you said, that's kind of one of the reasons that brought you over to Bare Knuckle was, all right, here's somebody who can really, fight, who's got some knowledge. And so I try to use all of that, but it does, I feel like, set me apart from everybody else.
So, which is going to make me start to wind this down, man. I love this part. Huh?
Yeah,
I love this part. Yeah. I want to talk about the fight itself from your eyes, right? Ding, ding, first bell goes. How do you see this fight playing out from start to finish? And I want you to be bold here. How do you finish Matt Murphy?
He's going to quit. I'm not going to finish him. He's going to quit. He's going to be so frustrated and so overwhelmed and so just baffled by what I bring to the table now, because I bring what I had before and then some. And, and I put a post. I'm about to set a new precedent for Bare Knuckle. I did it at the first event when I grabbed the back of Travis Thompson's head and they're like, is that legal? Is that legal? And I'm like, yeah, right. I read the rules, I understand the rules in and out. And so, and like I said, I love Antonio Tarver for giving me the educated hands moniker, because that's what I went back and did. We already have a high education, as far as, my boxing, my hand-to-hand combat. And so we just went and added some more. So as soon as the bell ring, he's going to be on his heels. He can't fight backing up. We know that Matt can fight coming forward. We saw that. That's how he kind of stifled Johnny a little bit. But I'm going to put him on his heels. I'm going to back him up, and I'm going to frustrate him, beat him up so bad that he's just like, you know what? This isn't even worth it anymore.
Any round you want to predict?
Third.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're going to close it down. But before we do that, I want you to take the opportunity. Some sponsors, some shout-outs, some coaches, your teammates, brother. All you.
Teammates, sponsors, whatever. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to my father and my home gym, 757 Boxing.
Yep.
We have great training tonight. My sponsors over at Match Bout for all my apparel. Chase Walden over at Groundhouse Athletics. He's been helping me get ready for my fight. Of course, Fight Heads MMA has always had my back. Gordon Customs. My own sister, she's a realtor. She sponsors me, Atlantic to the Beast Realty. Man, I got so many freaking sponsors. It's freaking crazy.
It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. Cryomax, VA, they sponsor me. Joyner Driving Improvement School. He sponsors me. He helps me out with all my nutritional needs and helping me make sure it's taken care of. Ginger Hills Lemonade. If nobody's ever heard of that, it's a all natural like ginger drink. Man, I cannot explain to you how good that stuff is and how much it helps with my muscle recovery. Yes. I stand by that. Did I miss anybody? I don't know. I might have.
How about social media? How can the fans keep up with you? Social media.
Right, so, of course, I got my fan page on Facebook, Reggie Barnett Jr. Go by, give my fan page a like. Check out some of my posts, some of my training videos, some of my fights. We got a little bit of everything up there. And then, of course, my Instagram, _EAZ_E. That simple, easy. And just and then YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. It's not nothing like extravagant or nothing like that, but of course you can. It's just easy.
All right, man. Well, Reggie, man, I appreciate you taking the time as always. Best of luck this coming weekend, and I look forward to watching, man. I can't wait to see it, and I look forward to see this bout and many more, man. Thanks for taking the time as always.
Thank you so much, Adam, for having me on. Are you coming to the fight?
I'm not. Dude, one of these days I got to make it out to the fight. But now I will be watching, and I will be watching on pay-per-view, which I'll plug in just a second. But yeah, man, one of these days we'll have to get up.
Yeah, I was about to do that. So before we close off, make sure y'all tune in The long-awaited return. It's been 9 months, y'all. Y'all know I'm hungry. Y'all know I trained my ass off. Y'all know when that bell rings what they expect. Nothing but fast and furious hands. So next weekend, live on pay-per-view, February 15th, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, BKFC 10. And they said, from 1 to 10, here we are 2 years later. So I'm super stoked about it. Thank you so much, Adam. You have a great evening.
Reggie, you too, brother. He just plugged it away, and I'm going to close it down for him. It goes down at the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. BKFC 10, it is going down. I'm here with my man, Reggie Barnett. Make sure you keep it locked to mymmanews.com for all your fight news needs.